Esteemed guests and technology enthusiasts, we welcome you all to our seminar on virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR technology. I am Aditi, your host for today, and it is a pleasure to have you all here today at our webinar organized by Technophiles, the Bharati Science Department of Bharati College. I request everyone, if possible, to turn on their cameras. Our principal, Professor Saloni Gupta ma'am, our esteemed convener, Dr. Aruna Jain ma'am, and our co-convener, Ms. Sheetal Mavi ma'am, and other department teachers have guided Technophiles, the Bharati College Computer Science Department, in organizing today's webinar. We are grateful for the support and encouragement throughout. AR and VR revolutionize digital interaction and real-world immersion. AR overlays virtual content onto reality, enhancing perception, whereas VR creates immersive digital environments. These technologies offer innovative experiences and transformative potential across industries from gaming to education. Get ready to explore new areas, change your perspective, and get surprising knowledge. Our motto, bite by bite, we ignite tech insight, suggests that there is always room for discovery. This webinar is sponsored by our fashion partner, Wealth Obsession, and our media partner, TU Online Campus. Now, let me present our distinguished guest speaker for today's event before we go into the depths of AR and VR. Mr. Dhruvan Shah, a rising star in the field of innovation and technology, is joining us today. He developed his data analysis and strategic planning abilities while working as a business analyst intern at Versatile Trading and Consultancy Agency. He also devotes his time to tutoring students in chess, exhibiting his love of both creativity and reasoning. Mr. Dhruvan Shah, who pursued a bachelor's degree in business administration with an emphasis on information technology, is currently interning in the market research and analysis domain in Impulse Global, Bangalore, and contributes a special combination of technical know-how and analytical skills to our discussion. With immense appreciation, we thank Mr. Dhruvan Shah for sharing his expertise and presence with us today. Now, let's delve into the captivating realm of AR and VR with Mr. Shah. Please join me in giving him a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Yeah. So, good morning. Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes, yes.
Okay. So it's very excited to have so many people in this webinar. And first of all, I would like to thank Technophiles and Bharati College for giving me this opportunity. And it is a great pleasure working with them. Today, I am trying to make a session which is very interactive, and we will try to extend our imagination. And I feel students have done this before and they know about VR, know about AR. And let's look how deep we can go into it. So I'll also share my details in the chat box if in case you want to connect to me later on. And I think we'll start the session. So before going into the depth, I want everyone to just close your eyes and imagine being in a space you like. It could be anything, like you're sitting among the celebrities, you're an astronaut in space, or anything, any comfort zone of yours, which you cannot physically do it now. Imagine any space. Take some time, take 2-3 minutes and interact with things, interact with objects. and go around, walk through. This is something which can be done beyond our imagination, and that is where virtual reality comes into the picture. I'll just share my screen. Give me 1 minute. Yeah. So so virtual reality is a concept where you can create a virtual world so in your comfort zone. You're on your bed and you can see what is happening in New York, what is happening in Las Vegas, what is happening in Australia. I cannot go to Antarctica. Maybe I cannot withstand the cold there. But through virtual reality, I can actually feel the existence of Antarctica and how amazing it is. Is actually not in space, but he feels as if he's understanding the solar system. He's looking at Mars, he's looking at Moon, and getting an insight of how it actually looks. And it is not just for entertainment and fun. It is also used in the medical sector, training and education, e-commerce, retail, and much more. Virtual reality is something which had started in 1990s, knew it will kill you. Was built, but nobody put so much emphasis on it later on. Post the pandemic, virtual reality became a lot more helpful and productful for everyone. And now, with the increasing technology, I feel a lot of things are possible. Like there are infinite possibilities with virtual reality, and this should go on. I have a short video, which is very interactive and which is very nice. You will like it. So watch it, and then we will continue with the next part. I'll just start.
Oh, damn. Oh.
Holy. These people are panicking because they're being asked to step out of an elevator onto a single plank that's suspended 80 stories in the air. Oh man. This game is called Richie's Plank Experience, and by their very real reactions, you might expect some groundbreaking photorealistic visuals behind that headset. But that's not the case. Sure, it's nice, but it's clearly not real. The graphics are beautiful, but the lighting isn't quite right. Things are just a little too diffused. The buildings are almost too smooth, and the plants on the ground are clearly squared off. It's hard to believe these people aren't dramatizing their reactions for the camera.
Oh, God.
But it's not just the plank experience. The internet is full of VR fails where people are sucked into pixelated worlds with disembodied parts in front of them. And this really got me thinking, how is it that a virtual world that doesn't look very real at all feels so real? Of course, the first major difference between watching VR and being in it is putting on the headset.
Here's where VR marketing has mostly failed, right? Because it's always shown from a spectator's perspective. And as a spectator, you do not get the experience of the person in VR.
Thong Nguyen is the founder and CEO of Remera, a company that helps businesses test and understand new spaces before they're built using virtual reality.
VR communicates to your brain in a different way than looking at a screen.
When looking at a screen like our TV or phone, our brains read this as a flat image, the same way it would a picture. If an object on a screen gets bigger or smaller, or the person on TV moves towards the camera, you don't feel the need to take a step back or move out of their way. But in VR, you might want to, because you're not looking at one screen. You're looking at two.
And those two screens are literally right in front of your eyes,
projecting a slightly different image into each eye, which is how our vision works in the real world. Each eye takes in stimuli from a slightly different vantage point. You can test this. Hold your finger up in front of your face and wink each of your eyes. Your finger should jump back and forth. That jump is the difference between what your left and right eye are seeing.
And the differences between what your eyes see conveys depth. It conveys 3 dimensions.
This is known as stereopsis, and VR developers have spent a lot of time perfecting it. But what use is depth if you can't move through it? Which brings us to the next most important way virtual reality tricks your brain.
You are the camera, and it's fast enough where your brain starts interpreting it as your perspective.
Head tracking allows a person in VR to look and move around a fake world in the same way that we look and move around a real one. If you look to the left, you'll see more of the world to your left. And if you look down... Okay, maybe don't look down. Other subtle effects make virtual spaces feel more real, like 360 audio, which is a big part of the plank experience. As you turn your head, the wind will subtly change. The plank creaks. And if you listen closely, a heartbeat slowly begins to speed up. Our brain takes all this new virtual stimuli and begins to believe this is reality.
Our brain has never really learned within the last 150,000 years to actually distinguish between computer-generated content and the real world.
Dr. Frank Stanica has been studying immersive technologies like VR for nearly 20 years.
And if all the cues that we perceive in the virtual environment are so similar to the cues that we get in the real world, it makes kinds of sense that we are unable to clearly distinguish between both.
Our brains quickly adapt to virtual environments largely because it's wired to trust our sense of sight.
There's some research showing that approximately 80% of all the information that we perceive from our environment are based on vision.
And this allows VR developers to manipulate our reality even further.
We found out about 10 years ago is that if we guide users on a circular arc with a radius of 20 meters, they have no chance to identify that they actually walk on a circle in the real world when they see a straight path in the virtual environment.
You can walk an entire virtual city without ever leaving a room. Once we believe the environment is real and accept that we're actually in it, our brains then go on to fill in some other blanks.
There are interesting findings that, for example, if you are in the virtual world in a very, let's say, snow or icy environment, people feel cold, although they're in the real world maybe in a hot environment.
Outside of games, VR has actually shown a lot of promise in the medical world, from reducing pain in burn victims by immersing them in a snowy world while their bandages are being changed, and with exposure therapy that helps people with phobias like a fear of heights and body dysmorphia. It's also being used for physical therapy, like assisting elderly people with their balance. Right now, we're still tethered to a system with a headset on our faces. The graphics are nice, but not perfect. And so we're not fully immersed when we hover 80 stories above the ground. That is, we can still remember to take the headset off. Stanica cautions that it might not always be that way.
We can easily assume that within the next 5 to 10 years or so, we will not be able to distinguish visually computer-generated content from real-world content anymore. And then, of course, there are a lot of ethical questions.
For now, VR might not look exactly like reality, but it follows a lot of the rules our brain has learned to perceive as real. And that's often enough to make us sweat.
Okay, so this was about the virtual reality. Amazing, right? Like when you see somebody doing getting into this virtual reality environment from the outside, you will feel silly. Like, why is that person reacting so much? It's he or she should just understand that they are in the real world. But because of the sound effects, the visuals, and also our brain connecting to that world, we don't understand that we are physically present there, but mentally in some other world. That is the power of VR. And VR is not just used for gaming and fun, because people think, okay, VR is there, we will make a 7D theater and we will use it for fun and everything. It is used for healthcare, it is used for education, it's used for architecture, it is used for therapy. We will go through every application one by one. For instance, let's take healthcare. Imagine you are a surgeon, okay, and you are just practicing surgery. You have never done surgery in real life. So if I tell you to do it on a real patient, the risk of surgery not happening is much more, and maybe you will not be ready to do it. So what does VR do without actually getting involved into a real person doing a surgery with him or her? You do it on a virtual simulation environment using the same tools, and VR is so perfect that all the graphics and everything is actually real, and there is no even if there is room for error, there is no damage caused. Of course, if I do it on a real person, then there might be consequences. But if you're doing it on a stimulation, on a virtual environment, you can practice multiple times. And then there are health boxes, and then VR joins AR technology and everything. And then the possibilities increase, and it's much more. Coming to education sector, I feel slowly when like first there were normal blackboards and everything. Now projectors have come. Slowly we will have VR, and because of VR, students will be able to imagine the textbook definition in the practical world. For example, I want to look at the solar system. I'm a kid. I will not understand any explanation from the teacher. So if they tell me, if they show me that there is the solar system, there is this amazing world, and actually take me there virtually, then I will understand, and then I will interact by myself. I will show interest from my side, and I feel that is a much more better way to explain these kind of concepts for kids, for even students, and even in industries. Architecture and visualization and design. If you see McLaren, Volvo, everyone uses VR concepts for designing, because what VR does, it simplifies the process. If you do this physically, that you change the parts, okay, this design is not good, we'll change the design, we'll go to another design. It takes a very long time, and it is a lot of cost cutting also. So if you do it using VR, then you feel that okay, you just pick one thing, just zoom in, then you will see more designs. Choose one, just like how in the Avengers the technology showed by Spider-Man. It is actually literally like that. How Tony Stark is doing in Avengers, if anyone is aware of it. So this technology can be real. We think because it is hypothetical, it is just shown in movies, it is not possible. But if this technology is used correctly, and it is being applied, if you go on YouTube and check videos of McLaren and Volvo, which I recommend, you will understand how amazing their technology looks, the designing part, and it is so smooth. So that is one revolutionary change in the architecture. Even if you're planning to make a building, or you're planning to build an infrastructure or an interior, you can use VR, and VR will suggest you. It will give you tips that okay, you can put your shelf here, you can put your sofa here, and it will eventually help. Then therapy and rehabilitation is also very important, because many people have this fear of heights. Then they have then they are lot of pain. So when they are in a lot of pain, VR games and stimulations have been used to distract them. And as we saw in the video, VR looks very real, so they don't understand what's going on in the background, and the pain which they had, that doesn't touch their brain only, because their brain is focusing on the virtual environment which is in front of their eyes, and the glasses are so close to your eyes that you don't have any other distractions, you don't have any other thing to look at. So that is the power of VR. Corporate training and skill development. Again, VR has tutorials and a lot of things. Like, for example, let's take fire safety. Of course, we don't hope that people require that there is fire and there is destruction. But once a person is taught what to do in a fire safety training, he can complete that full tutorial using the VR. Like the step one is go to this box and remove the tools. Step two is go here and remove the fire extinguisher. Be it anything, be it however the process is. But if he if he practices there, he will not get any damage, real physical damage. Plus he will learn that in if real life, if this situation happens, which we hope doesn't happen, how he will escape the fire, and also make sure that he protects the other civilians. So that is also important. Skill development, VR can teach you a lot of skills, soft skills, hard skills, maybe like tutorial. Again, it's just like training. Tourism and travel experiences, this is also one very big virtual reality's future. Because for example, let's take pandemic. In pandemic, we had no option to like go around. We couldn't even go to the nearby shops. In between that, it was so strict because of COVID. So in that scenario, if you're sitting at home, one minute you are in Europe, the other minute you are somewhere in USA, then you are in Canada, then you are in Antarctica. So you can just roam around by your choice, and you can actually feel the environment there. And this is only possible because of virtual reality. Many people cannot afford trips. It is not physically possible for them to go there. They could have some injuries, some issues. For them, tourism and travel experience via VR is such a big advantage. And I feel some elderly people, for them, it is not possible. They can use these applications and do virtual reality tourism. And there are apps also which give you this tourism. It is like experience before you experience it. Like you understand the real world, the virtual world before entering the real world. So that is what is virtual reality. So okay, next. Okay. So this is one example of VR, also VR. So this company is doing surgical training, and it has been doing since a few years now, and they have got results. It is very realistic, and it is also recognized by a medical institution. If I tell you at first, you will be like, oh, what if there is a problem? What if there is a function issue? What is there is some technical glitch? But they have improved day by day and come to a step where everything is happening accurately, and they are able to perform surgeries in a virtual environment and then do it in the main environment. As I mentioned very earlier, that in the healthcare industry, you can see the photo as well. There is a scissor, then there is a machine which they are using for surgery. There were videos also of this, but it could be disturbing. That's why I'm not playing any video from that. And you could do it in a team. You could do it individually. You can have training bots. You can use your medical expertise. But before reaching here, you should have that knowledge of proper medical science. So that is what is important. And also VR has done it and is doing great also in future. So I recommend you to see their YouTube videos where they are showing knee surgeries, open heart surgeries, and it feels real. It's very nice. Okay, so let's come to the next part. So when I told you in like when I told you about virtual reality, like imagine you are in some space. You are in some space where you can interact with celebrities. You are in a cricket stadium or anything. What happens in augmented reality is you can have that components with you present in the real world. Like I'm sitting on my desk and I can have sun sitting on my bed, maybe. Like I can have the solar system. I can have the solar system just above my head, and I can imagine. I can see, okay, which planet is where, how many moons does Jupiter have, and I can understand. And best part of learning is uh, seeing it, understanding it, feeling it. So just imagine if you have whatever you want right in front of you, but in digital content. That is what is AR. If you're aware of the game Pokemon Go, which was launched in 2016, AR, it completely changed the AR industry. AR rised a lot after that because it was so realistic and it had a lot of features. We will discuss about Pokemon Go also in the next slide. So this is what is augmented reality. And I'll give you one basic example. Even the Snapchat filter, which people are using, that is also augmented reality. What is it? It's just a digital content which overlays with the real world. Like you can have something, you can have something on your desk, which is not, which you physically cannot bring. You can have it on your desk. That is what is AR. Once we see the applications, I think you will understand much better. But before that, to understand how AR works, I have one more video, and it is very amazing. It tells you how it maps, like how does a object position itself in the real world, because it can be placed anywhere. But why does it choose to be on the table? Why does it choose to be in the air? That is what is very important, and that is what we will see in the coming video. So relax and watch this video.
So you want to become an augmented reality content creator. Or maybe you want to design or develop custom AR apps. The only problem is you just don't understand how AR works. Well, this video is for you. Before we get started, I actually want to clarify something. Augmented reality can be subdivided in different modalities, such as visual, auditory, or haptics. In this video, we're going to focus on visual-based AR. If someone asked you what augmented reality was, how would you define it in one sentence? Pause the video and submit your answer in the comments below. This is how I define augmented reality. AR is a digital medium that allows you to overlay virtual content into the physical world in a way that makes it seem like the content is physically there. AR essentially allows us to merge the digital and physical worlds. I bet you're curious to know how this magical technology actually works. It all starts with AR-enabled hardware, such as a phone or glasses. Most importantly, AR uses a system of cameras and in some devices also time-of-flight 3D depth sensors to see and understand the physical world around you. Imagine entering a room you've never ever been in. What do you tend to do? You look around and make sense of your surroundings. Your mind builds a mental model of the space so that you can memorize it and recall it the next time you enter the same space. The processor in your head mapped the environment using images from the dual camera system on your face. Similarly, your phone or glasses also map your surrounding environment and built a model of it using hardware sensors and specialized software, in this case computer vision and machine learning software. Now imagine this room again. When we move around the room, we can pretty accurately estimate our location within it. This is possible because we take into account our relative position to important features in the room, such as the walls, the desk, and the ultra-wide monitor. In AR, this is referred to as tracking or localization. The research community has a fun word called SLAM, which stands for simultaneous localization and mapping. This is what your phone or glasses do many times a second. They map your environment, but also keep track of where you are in relation to it. This is so important to understand. Once mapping and localization are working well for a new environment, an AR experience can begin. But how does the placement of AR content actually work? When placing AR content, your phone or glasses really place them in the virtual map of the environment. The virtual map, however, is invisible. So that's why it looks like the digital content is placed in the physical world. It is therefore really important that our virtual map is accurate and aligned with its physical counterpart. In addition to mapping and localization, your AR device also senses other characteristics of the environment. For example, the light intensity and color temperature. To make things appear as realistic as possible, our AR devices sense the conditions of our environment and project that onto our digital content as well. And that is how AR works. It maps your environment and tracks your location within it. By doing that, it allows you to place digital content into the physical world in a way that makes you and those around you believe that it is actually there. I hope that you're super stoked to get started with augmented reality. The technology feels magical, and AR has a true potential to disrupt every single industry on Earth. I'm willing to bet it'll even spawn new industries we haven't yet imagined. Now, I know AR is still very new and uncertain, so where do you get started? Well, I'm glad you asked. Subscribe to my channel, and I will guide.
Okay. So that's what I told you now. Where you are placing the object, how it's coming there, the lightning, the density, everything, all that matters in AR. And AR is like it feels like there is a physical object there, although you know that that is digital. But when you look at it through the camera or the lens, it feels like it is actually present there. For example, if you are aware of IKEA, what IKEA does is it uses furniture, like AR-based furniture. Like if you are putting your phone towards. Hello.
अरे तो डर के भाग रहा है लो
Hello. Yeah. So talking about IKEA, if there is some empty space and you're confused that should I put my sofa here or should I put my table here, you can use AR to map it, and AR will tell you that how it is looking. That if you're uh, yeah. So you can actually place that AR, the object there, and virtually visualize that how it will look, and that is the power of AR. Even in shopping, we don't understand that if the shirt is going to fit to us and it is going to look nice. So using AR, you can project that T-shirt or shirt towards on your body, and then understand how it's looking. So that is the new technology. That is something which everyone wants. That is something which is solving problems. So let's go through the applications one by one. Gaming and entertainment. Pokemon Go, as I told you, one of the very best games which has enabled AR and which has brought AR into everyone's mind, because you can literally feel that there is a Pokemon, a small character of the game standing in front of you. It's like a treasure hunt game. You have to find those Pokemons and you have to catch them. You have to walk through the streets and you will literally see a Pokemon in the metro station. You will see someone outside your door. So it is that realistic, although it is a little addictive, but it's really nice. So gaming, of course, augmented reality is very nice. Retail and e-commerce, as I told you, IKEA, then shopping, both these things. It helps you visualize the content on you, or helps you visualize the content in the environment you want to place it. So that is one good thing. Education and training, I feel it is more about the help box. Like whenever you're looking at something, it will show you that, okay, what is it about? It will give a description. Or else if you want to see a human skeleton, you can place it in front of you and then analyze. You can analyze veins of the body. You can analyze anything related to education in front of you, and you can zoom in, you can interact with it. And even for example, let's take a car. If you want to check what goes into the engine, you can just zoom in and understand which wire goes where, how much gap you should leave, what is wrong, what is right. And that is all possible only through a glass. Healthcare and medicine, again, is very important. Again, it will train you, it will make you understand whatever it guides you, like just like in VR. Architecture and design, it will help you shift places, which I told for IKEA. Like it will help you think, okay, I can place a shelf here. Okay, I can build an extra room for this apartment. I can make this 2 BHK to a 3 BHK because I have so much space. I can utilize this space. And this you are really doing in the real world because you're seeing what is there, right? It is not VR. It is not some virtual world. Here you are seeing what is there. And architecture and design, as I told you, mentioned. Industrial and maintenance, this is where the training comes. If you notice, many companies for stock management, They are using VR glasses. They are using VR glasses to understand how much inventory is left, how much stock level is left. Like if there are 50 supplies and you put five of them, then it will become 45, and you will understand, okay, this particular part holds 45 supplies, this particular part holds 30 supplies, and you don't need to remember everything is in front of you. It is just one glass you're adding, and you're understanding. It is that simple. Okay, then talking about Pokemon Go, I told you in between. So, what is the one amazing part of Pokemon Go? I'll tell you that it uses GIS, Geographic Information System, for mapping all the Pokemons. If you can see in the image, the Pikachu is actually on grass, and that is an actual world. That is not VR. That is somebody's lives there. So you can actually see that there is some Pokemon in front of you. He's walking on the road, as I told you. And one more benefit of it is that if like there is something called as water Pokemon and grass Pokemon. So you will find water Pokemons in lakes and water bodies. So that is the like how real they can make it. That is the fun part of this game. Like if you want something in water Pokemon, you will find it near a lake only. So that is what makes your mind think, okay, wow, this is so much connected, this is so much nice. So this is how hello, yeah, this is how Pokemon Go went up. And it is still I still have it in my phone. I play often, and it's fun. Okay, so let's look at the difference between AR and VR. This is also like very important. So what is mainly the difference between AR and VR? Uh, Coming to the emotion level, what AR does, it overlays digital content onto real world, enhancing what we see, and it is like additional information added to real world. But what VR does, it changes the world. It completely replaces the world with a digital environment, and that is like the major difference. On VR, whatever you perform is done digitally. On AR, whatever you perform can also be done digitally and can also be like touched. You can feel that thing in real. Talking about contextual interaction, AR allows you to, just as I mentioned, AR allows you to interact with both virtual and real world elements, whereas VR does not include the real world elements, but it gives you much more of a virtual environment. It gives you the actual environment. Like I told you, if you are going to Antarctica, you can feel that cold. You can feel everywhere that there is cold air and it's freezing. Hardware requirements, AR experiences, like you can do through smartphones or tablets or AR glasses. Google Glass was there, which failed actually, but just like that. So, and VR is basically a headset, a goggles. I have one Lenovo headset with me. I had taken long back. This, it's very simple. It's just like you strap your glasses and you see a new world. This one you have to put your phone, but now with Oculus VR, you can they have their own virtual environment. You can modify it, you can add things, and it is like limitless possibilities. Talking about use cases, AR finds applications in retail, education, also in navigation. If I go to the terrace and I just navigate to the street near the traffic, I will get information. Okay, there is a medical store there. Okay, there is the metro station there. There is a bus stop there. So AR gives those pop-ups, those notifications that okay, if you want to go there, you can use this route. And Google Maps is also trying to do that. There was also one scenario which had happened recently, where they had done this prototype. VR is often used for gaming simulation. Like recently, though, if you notice, it's lot into gaming. Training also. Training, as I told you, if you are training for surgeries, if you're training for fire safety, and also for like tourism, transporting, like teleporting from one space to another space. That is also very important. Then spatial awareness. AR maintains awareness of real world surroundings. You are knowing that you are in the real world, whereas VR is into the virtual world, which limits the awareness of physical surroundings. Then collaborative experiences are different. AR enables sharing and interacting with digital content in the shared physical space, whereas VR facilitates interaction with others within the same virtual environment. VR also gives you interaction. Like there is possibility that you can also interact in VR as if you're interacting with someone in a game. That he's telling you something, he's telling you some mission, he's telling you you have to do this task. So that is also kind of an interaction only. That is also possible. Then there is content creation differences, then privacy and safety concerns, and a lot more. Then coming to the next slide. Yeah. So this is Google Glass. Long back, Google Glass was built, and it did not work. It did not work. People thought, okay, it's nice. Maybe you can use it, and it could be the new future. It could be better, but it failed. And why it failed? Because it was struggling to find basic functions like photo and video recording, and because of its high cost, the expectations were also high. That if we are paying so much, we should get so much. There were privacy concerns. The built-in camera was always on recording, and it raised some privacy concerns in the public, which people were not like they were uncomfortable with it. So they were like not ready to accept it. The tag was also $1,500, which was not convenient for normal public. It was expensive, and for that reason, it did not reach the market. Not many people took it, and the design was also a little bulky, and people were like they felt self-conscious while wearing it in the public. Usually, what you want to just wear a simple pair of glasses and understand what is the environment. So they were not very happy with it. So that is why Google Glass failed. Okay, so coming to the conclusion of what we've understood through the journey is AR and VR offers transformative possibilities across industries. I think most of us look AR and VR into a very limited sector, such as gaming or just like an additional help. But if computer engineers like you or anyone who's developing AI as taking possibilities, adding tech, trying and figuring out new things, because imagination can be limitless. Like you can think of anything. So if you can use that imagination and being technically feasible and possible, you can make AR and VR work even more and take it to a next level. So both these technologies are getting merged. Then there is XR, MR, and everything. Apple Vision Pro is also like an example of both. So I think it's going on its peak, and it's very nice for us. They enhance reality and create immersive environments. Like one shows you reality in the environment, and one creates an environment. And applications are ranging from healthcare to gaming. So there is diversity. There is use cases for everyone. Even a child can use it. Even an elderly person can use it. Then challenges are there. There are some hardware limitations and privacy concerns, which are getting sorted as the technology develops and legality increases. Then there is continuous advancement because there is no stopping. I told you there is limitless possibilities. Then collaboration is there, efforts to unlock full potential AR and VR. Education and training sectors is someone which will get benefit a lot with this technology, because learning through that will also impact your future. Like you have learned in such a way that you can explain anything. You can explain any concept because you've seen it. You've seen it happen in front of you. So that is something which I feel it is beneficial for the coming generation if AR and VR go big. Then accessibility and affordability is also like before, when AR came, the price was little high. The VR goggles, the cost was high. But now, once the usage is more, demand is more, the price automatically drops down, because people making it also are more. HTC does it, Lenovo does it, Google has done it. So Oculus Rift is also one very famous VR. So everyone, if starts doing it, then the price will also come down. Ethical considerations are also being addressed, because sometimes in AR we feel that there is some ethical issue that is also being addressed. Consumer demand and market trends will also drive. And despite a few challenges, AR and VR is always bright, and I think it will go a lot in future if given that pressure, if given that effort, and if there is more research on it. Even students are doing research, experts are doing research, they are trying to build more technologies, they are trying to add AI to it, they are trying to add machine learning, mapping. So I think AR and VR has a very bright future if taken considered positively. And yeah, so that is it from my side for today. And if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you, Mr. Shah, for your insightful presentation. Now, if we have any further questions or ideas from our attendees, they are requested to either open their mic or send it in the chat box.
Like I'm comfortable with anything. I think chat box will be much preferred because it will create a chaos. Yeah. Is AR and VR developer really in demand as compared to other IT profiles such as big data engineering, DevOps engineer? Yeah, so AR and VR is again completely, that is what I'm telling you, that if you try and merge everything, like all the IT, like big data, let's take, for example, big data. To find that data, if you're using AR and VR technology, if you're using AR and VR for analysis, data analysis, if you're using AR and VR for development. So I feel that the technologies, if they are emerged and they are used together, it will create an impact, and it is like a faster and easier solution because it is available, because it is affordable, and it is a growing sector. Okay, so Priyanshi Gupta, how do AR and VR differ in terms of user interaction and interface design? Yeah, so as I told you that AR is mostly like if you talk about the hardware, it is just a simple goggle, it's just a simple glass, and the user feel is more into the physical environment. Like you can pick an object and put it somewhere else in your space, correct? But in VR, you do whatever you want in virtual reality. Like you can break things, you can do skiing, you can do paragliding, you can literally fall from the height till down and not feel damaged. So that is the two differences. In AR, you feel that you know that you are in the real world. Whatever is happening is in the real world. So you're a bit careful of all this. But in VR, you have a little more what do you call you can explore more possibilities in doing adventures or doing this like surgery. You can do a mistake in that. You can do what do you call driving also. You can learn how to drive a car using VR technology. Like before you actually step in the real car, you can do you can use a simulator and practice there instead of directly stepping. I'm not telling you to learn everything over there, but before you enter the car for the first time, you can 100% learn everything in VR, stay stimulated environment, and then go for the real traffic. I hope I answered your question. Archita Sharma, what are the key technologies enabling augmented reality experiences? So, one is the mapping, as I told you. There is a lot of uh, things which is like the mapping and the real world scenarios. Even AR is trying to build in those sound effects, the water effects, the like you understanding that if that object is there, that object can produce things, that object can actually interact it. For example, in defense system, that object, if you're using doing military training, you can use that object for you can see that like, there is explosion, there is explosion, you can see that there is what do you call the like the interaction you can see, and you can understand that that is a reality and that is happening in your environment. That is the best part of augmented reality, that you can see that happening in your environment, and you will understand, okay, if I do this, this is going to happen. You can, as I told you, you can experience before experiencing it. Yeah. Is there any current limitations to AR and VR? How are they being addressed, if any? So I think AR and VR are not like, there is always a scope of improvement to anything, and AR and VR is doing amazing as of now. There is always something which can be done new, and you can, as I told you, mixed reality, MR, XR, Apple Vision Pro. This is what is coming new, which has already come actually. So this is what they are trying to. Like you get up in the morning, you put your glasses and you are experiencing AR. You can switch to VR, you can experience VR, and the possibilities are more. Limitations are like maybe some hardware limitations could be there, or something like whatever is pictured, it should be very accurate. There could be some minor issues, but as I told you, even in the surgery process, there are not any issues. What they have faced, it is accurate. They're showing exactly what is being told. What industries are most likely to benefit from advancements in augmented reality and virtual reality in the near future? Okay, so I feel education is a very big sector which is going to be get advantage from AR and VR in the future. This is there. And training. Why training? I'm telling because it's a risk-free environment. If you're training in a risk-free environment, you're learning, you're understanding more, you're understanding that, okay, this is the possibility. And when you do it in a real environment without having the skill set, then you can, there is a chance of failure, there is a chance of maybe death, because it is very, some in some industries, it is very risky to directly do it physically there. So what AR and VR does, it gives you that chance, it gives you that understanding in a virtual world to get like what you want. What industries are most like? Okay. Priyanka, how does virtual reality impact the way we design and stimulate environments for various purposes? Yeah, so this is where your imagination comes into the picture. Whenever you are thinking of something which is virtually possible, you can actually like have that design. You can have add-ons. You can put your you can add some things of your side. You can create an environment. You can create, for example, I told you new cars have been come. So new cars are using this stimulated environments, and they are testing their cars on there. That can it go on this rocky road? Can it go on a big mountain? Can it run through the snow? So that is where you question yourself. You ask yourself, okay, is this possible? Is this possible? And the more you ask, the more possibilities are coming, and then you frame all those possibilities into one environment, and you enjoy that environment with all the consequences. What are some of the psychological effects associated with prolonged use of virtual reality? Okay, So one thing is because you are the sudden shift of environment, like you are into one environment before and suddenly you are into space. So you don't feel anything at first, but afterwards when you remove the VR, that the thing, it stays in your mind that you were in space for some time, you saw this, you saw that, and it affects you a little bit mentally. And if you're continuously using VR, it may also affect your eyes. So that usage should be limit, like it should be only used for your entertainment, training, industry purposes. And for that time being, if you're continuously using VR, then you might face difficulty in the physical world as well. So your usage also matters, how you're using it effectively for the purpose. That is what is important. How are companies utilizing AR and VR for marketing and advertising purposes? If you know about this ad of the batter, the idli dosa batter, recently which had come from the metro, the batter comes out, and then they like shake hands, and then they like, it's a very creative and a very fun ad, and it is only done using AR, because metro and station, everything is physically possible. And that batter which comes out is like, okay, going to the next stop, and I will add this thing, I will add that thing. So I think companies should use more AR and VR, because it is very interactive. It brings emotions. Like you watch the ad and you feel, oh wow, this is possible. Oh wow, it's like the person, I am the person, I am the ad. It feels like that. Can you explain the concept of emotion in virtual reality and its importance? Okay, so why? See, immersion means like you are totally into that environment, and because of the sound. When virtual reality came, it was just the visual effect. It was just you could see something which is like you used to teleport to some other environment, but you can only see the visuals of it, nothing else. Then you can sometimes people used to understand, okay, this is just a fake space. But nowadays virtual reality also has sound effects. It has this, as we saw in the video, it tricks your brain to think that you are in some reality, and you are doing things there, you're working there, you're doing things there, you're walking on the street, but you are actually sitting on your bed. That is the way we get immersed in it totally. What role does augmented reality play in marketing and advertising strategies? Yeah, so as I mentioned, for marketing, you can like, it is like you're interacting with the product, you're interacting with the service. That is what you're showing the audience, and the audience will then understand, okay, that the product is so important, or the service is so important, that it is actually working as a human. Because if you're seeing the product or service doing things, humanly things, you will feel like, okay, wow, this is something which is good. And you get one most important thing in marketing and advertising is the emotion. You get emotionally connected with that product, and then you tend to buy it. Okay. What are the privacy concerns associated with AR applications? Yeah. So according huh. So I feel mainly when you start using AR applications, you sometimes are not allowed to get into some personal space or some environment. And if AR is enabling their environment, they are showing, okay, this is the information of the some products which should not be displayed. If AR is showing all that, then that is something which is some concern. That is something which should be avoided, should be taken care of. And if AR is available everywhere, like if it is just going on and you just can peep into someone else department, and you're getting information from there illegally, that is something which creates a privacy concern. But that does not happen usually, because it also has its own limitations, own spaces. Can you discuss some examples of successful integration of augmented reality in retail environments? Yeah. So if you see, there was one app recently which used to Like if you're buying a shoe, it used to fit it in your foot, and you used to feel like you are wearing it. Even in clothes, if you go to if you do online shopping, I know because we have the return policy, we tend to not worry about it. But it is not always that you will get the same size, and how it looks on the model, it doesn't look the same way on you. It is for everyone. So that is where AR will help you understand that how it actually looks on you, how it actually feels for you. So that is what in retail industry it can be used for, mainly clothing and accessories, even sunglasses. If you are buying from somewhere, maybe the size is a little big or small, but if you're ordering from online, it is necessary to understand that how it looks on you or in the AR world. Okay. What are the private? Okay, yeah. How does augmented reality enhance our perception of the real world? So augmented reality is actually an add-on to the real world. It doesn't change the real world. It's just gives you some information. It's like a notification. It gives you, okay, you're going here. This is what can happen here. Okay, this is the information of the street here. So it gives you more. It gives you detailed information of what you're doing, where you're going. Like I told you about navigation. If you're planning to go to somewhere far, augmented reality can give you the fastest route. I know Google Maps will do the same, but augmented reality will do it in front of you. Like you can see, they will show you, okay, if you use a metro instead of a car, it will be more faster. Then it will help you. It can give you suggestions. It can help you think in a more smarter way. That is what is augmented reality, because it is a real world. You also tend to accept those possibilities. What are some popular applications of augmented reality in various industries? So okay, for example, let's take a mechanic. Okay, so if a mechanic is working on a car, uh, he just looks in the bonnet, right? He gets the information of everything inside the bonnet, everything, and he understands which wire to choose, which panel to take, what screw to unloose or fit, which machine does what, why is it overheating. Then there'll be a pop-up showing, okay, this is the cause. And that is where the person will understand that he doesn't need to ask people, okay, why is this happening, why is this happening. He will just look into it and he knows what is the problem, and he will try to solve it, and AR will help him solve it. This is one example of augmented reality. Other than that, in gaming industry, as I told you, and then training and stimulation, everything for AR. In even in education, you will understand. So if you're going to some science project, science lab, you're going for an exhibition. If you have AR with you, then you can understand, okay, what is the science behind it before somebody explains it. Sometimes we don't understand an explanation, but we understand visuals. And once you understand visuals, everything is easy to understand.
Do we have any more questions? No? Okay. Thank you, sir, for your valuable contributions. They have significantly enriched our seminar and inspire us to explore further into this critical domain.
Thank you.
For any further questions, you can message him on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. The links have been provided in the chat box. And additionally, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated members of Technophiles and the Computer Science Department of Bharati College for their unwavering efforts in organizing this seminar. Their dedication to fostering intellectual discourse and raising awareness about AR and VR is truly commendable. To all our attendees, thank you for your presence and active participation in this seminar. Special thanks to our department council and our esteemed speaker for their valuable contributions to this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, the webinar has ended. You all can leave now.